ARCA biopharma. So these guys have a drug that is for blood clots for the most part. It's the AB201 RNAP C2 is the name of the drug. And so the ARCA biopharma 201. And so this has gone to phase 2 before, so they already have trials showing that it's relatively safe for generally taking the drug, but I couldn't find out what. Um, I mean, it didn't go to phase 3 on whatever they were trying to use it on before, so I guess it's safe enough to potentially go to phase 2 and 3 really quickly here, and easy to manufacture if it's effective. Um, and this drug has it's anti-blood clot drug, but it operates on TF, which is a tissue factor that is in the inflammatory pathways, and so potentially reducing blood clots in the lungs and reducing inflammation. And it could be a COVID treatment. Um, yeah, that's an anti-inflammatory and anti-blood clot treatment, which is one of the more common kind of effects of a COVID infection. And these guys have been trending down. Um, and then a big blast, and they've had a couple big blasts before that came back down. Um, so yeah, generally on these news blasts, and this one made it through pre-market and got up even higher. So this is a really interesting one, and it hasn't been like running up and up and up and up like some of the vaccines have. This is just kind of popping up off of a low, and probably won't have more news on this for a while. And so the general idea with these is just kind of see where they try to go spike up to. So this is from 3 to wow to 13. Okay, this is a big one. This is a big impulse wave, it looks like. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see this one settle in down here, kind of at or below this guy. And yeah, usually with these news blasts, it just kind of fires up and then it kind of settles out. And then that's kind of the point where if you think that this drug is promising and you like the company because of this drug, usually like right here on the news blast is not the best spot to go long on this thing. You want to try to get the actual kind of price, which is usually a little bit above where it was. So maybe in this zone here. And this is not investment advice, 545. Um, that's the kind of range where you see these kind of news, coronavirus treatment news flashes kind of going to. But this one managed to go on a second blast after open, which is pretty interesting because a lot of them will just come down during pre-market or immediately afterwards and kind of settle out. And this one's a little bit different, but it's probably gonna settle out down here somewhere. Um, my best guess. And let's take a look and see what's going on in the general market. So what are we on, a 10-minute timer? All right, so uh, this is potentially a bullpen. I guess it looks like it's trying to go up now, and we had a rejection out across this. This is the 120-day moving average. So sort of bull markets generally get held to the upside of this average, and bear markets get held to the downside. And so this thing is fighting to see if it can stay up in sort of the bull market land up here. And in bear markets, usually once you get across this line, you get a pretty aggressive rejection down. And so we don't know if this is a bear market or not at this point because we're up here above this line with this huge bounce. And just kind of flattening out. So let's flip through and see what our indicators look like. Yeah, so we got a swing upwards here and a divergence here. So this is a really bullish look here. And the bears would want this to do like an angular reversal down this way. Because right now it's trending up and it's kind of going parabolic. Yeah, this is a crazy move. So I don't know if that would be a three. Let's get in and look at this guy. Yeah, so if that's a 5 wave, this one would look to be getting a correction down to at least here. And as far as Elliott waves go, and this thing is in bull territory and just kind of stalling out in bull territory. It hasn't really decided what to do yet. Yeah, it's just kind of hanging out. So, um, so yeah, I mean, obviously this is a big bull run and everything's in bull territory right now. And we're not getting indicators on anything right now. So who knows what this thing is trying to do right now? Let's check out Dow. A couple of things jumped up. Yeah, the Dow blasted up, and the dollar is dropping. That's interesting. Okay. So the dollar has been just kind of in this zone, and this is kind of a measure of it's largely the dollar versus the euro, but this is a basket of currencies, but the euro is the biggest one, and we just kind of been in this little squeeze here, but that's potentially a downside break to a weaker dollar, and so I don't know if that. I mean, this down move in the dollar corresponded with that's the Feb 20 kind of big move down. So, I mean, the Fed prints more when things are going bad. And everyone says that the Fed's printing to like push things up. And I say the Fed is printing just to kind of plug the holes. Um, but this didn't make it to the bottom of the crash. And then the rest of the world printed a ton of money in response here. And so, as far as a DXY trade, if the dollar does make a move down here, then that could be a really good spot to go long on the dollar. And I don't know if that indicates good things or bad things on the market. I mean, the big liquidation kind of thing here was relative to the down move in the market. Um, let's throw the S&P in and see what the S&P looks like relative to these guys. All right. So yeah, the bottom on this push was after the dead cat, like during this down move. I guess is when the Fed had already started printing a ton here, and then all the other banks started responding and printing a ton and pushed it back. And so the top is kind of relative to the bottom here. And then we get pretty opposite swings here. The dollar's up when this goes down, and the dollar's pushing down now while this is going up. Yeah, it's been pretty inverse. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. So I don't know if that kind of pattern would continue or not. But yeah, it looks like the S&P is going up and the dollar is going down at the same time right now. And so I don't know if that indicates. It looks like it's not any kind of leading indicator or anything right now. It's just kind of swinging opposite to the market. And so we see a lot of things moving up on the S&P today, or in the general market. Let's see what other things are doing. Go away. Okay, Bitcoin's making a move up. So Bitcoin has been getting rejected, and it's around the upper area where it's been getting rejected, but it rejected and got back up, and now it's going up a little bit. So this is, I don't know, this is something to watch. This is kind of an area where it could, if it got back under here, it could go back down to this side, or it could potentially break out. But it doesn't look like a breakout yet, really, to me. And it looks like we're just kind of, yeah, we're kind of on top of this line. I don't know. This chart looks dangerous. It just looks like it's kind of in the area where it where it gets rejected. When it gets kind of goes up above this, it gets knocked back down. And I guess just more sideways and stable activity away from this would be good, I guess, for Bitcoin here. Um, like a little up move could do another one of these kind of rejections. So I think solid move away from here is probably better than a big up move. Looking at Bitcoin, what's gold doing? Gold's just kind of chilling. Yeah, silver jumped and it's kind of staying flat. Oh yeah, Tesla. Tesla's kind of in this interesting zone here that looks dangerous. It's just hanging out. Uh, oh wow, the Russell is shooting. It's just shooting up, uh, up to the moving average. Okay, that's a big move. The Russell was trending lower. XLFs are going way up. Okay, so it's these lower stocks that are kind of driving the S&P, I guess. The ones that were hanging out to the low side, and then oil is. Wait, what time chart is this? Dailies. Let's get in and look at what oil's doing right now. So this is the USO, and yeah, it just kind of peaked and it's just kind of trailing down, and so that looks like a 5, and we'll see if we're correcting down kind of to this area, or if this is a bigger correction. Um, so yeah, I would expect kind of this area to look for a bounce. Although this is not the actual oil prices. The USO is a fund that doesn't exactly track the oil prices. But we can throw oil on here. Yeah, so as you can see, USO looks like it's tracking oil pretty well if you get the timeline close, but the farther you move away, it tracks it less and less well, and it doesn't get the same kind of up move that oil gets, and this is because of the contango. And if you zoom out, let's pin this on a different one. Yeah, so this is something with the oil ETFs and ETNs that I've shown a couple of times, is that in the short term it looks like it tracks closely, but then you can see when oil goes up, the ETFs don't really get up as high. Just kind of trails. And so we see that again here where oil's bounced and the USO hasn't gotten the same kind of move. And as you zoom out, you can see that that's kind of common where the USO is kind of volatile and flat while oil's going up. But then on the down moves, it does go down with the down moves. Yeah, so that's a look at the USO. And so I would like, this is not investment advice, but with these type of funds, like, I would only want to short this fund. I wouldn't want to go long on it because it doesn't really track on the way up. It kind of loses the compounding into contango. But there's an SCO, there's a short crude oil that doesn't have the same problem. If you short the short crude oil, then that's going long on oil without the contango and the compounding. And then you can take a look at the VIX, see what's going on. And what is it? Oh, it's on the weekly. That's not very useful. Yeah, so the VIX has been coming down out of this choppy craziness and kind of settling out and dropping. And so for bull markets, you want the VIX to go down. You want it to go down and you want it to get less choppy. Choppy is a bear market kind of danger thing. And the higher the level is, the scarier the market is, the bigger the downside risk. And so the higher it is, kind of the bigger the up and down moves are going to be. And the lower it is, you get small up and down moves. And then the choppier the VIX itself is more risk. And so it looks like it got a little bit choppier here. And it looks like it also has put in a higher bottom. And the VIX is actually going up right now, while the S&P is on a bull run, which is interesting. But that's not, the VIX doesn't look super bullish, and obviously the fundamentals don't look bullish. But the technicals on the S&P look like they're trying to turn up, and we haven't gotten too much of a resolution on this. Let's get in closer and see what this looks like. Yeah, so this is just wobbling still, and the cyclical stuff is just kind of chilling. Like, it's all in bullish territory. It just went on a big bull run, but it hasn't really decided what to do yet, and it's not really indicating a direction right now. So the bears are looking to get these lines down on the bear side, and the bulls just needed to stay up here and wobble around. And so yeah, we're above the big moving average here, and 3047. Yeah, so this is a 130-day moving average, which actually comes in a little bit higher than the 200-day. And I like this one because it gets a little bit more reactions. And so it's not uncommon to hit this or cross it. But in general, bear markets will reject to the downside of this if they cross it, and bull markets, if they cross it, will reject to the top side. And so we're trying to see if we are in a bull market or a bear market. Is there some crazy fundamental thing that is stronger than the entire economy being locked down and the world economy being in trouble? That's going to push the USA stock market up. Potentially foreign money printing coming into the US market or something. I heard that from Brent Johnson. Or, I mean, everybody keeps saying the Fed is pushing the market up, although I don't see fundamentally that that's happening. But that's the big narrative. Everyone says the Fed's pushing the market up, and I think the Fed's very happy for everyone to think that. And so yeah, we'll have to see if the Bears can get this back down under here, or if the Bulls can get out here to bull market territory. And if you can get up here, who knows, around, if you can get above like 31 and kind of back test it, then that would be very bullish. And then obviously if we get down here, that's going to be bearish. And that's a big indicator for the next month or two, as to whether we're in a bull market or a bear market. It could indicate the next couple of years, if it gets back down into bear territory or gets up into bull territory. And all right, so that's the outlook, not investment advice. And I forget which video this was. I think this was on the medical playlist. So yeah, if you want to take a look at the medical playlist, I have a bunch of the medical stocks in there. We keep getting these little news flashes and they pop up and then they usually settle back down. Um, but uh, but yeah, sometimes they keep popping up and settling back down over and over as they go through different phases of different trials and things like that. Um, so yeah, that's a good look as to where to get long on these kind of things, as far as kind of getting a lottery ticket on like a vaccine or some kind of COVID treatment or something. And happy trading.